Hi everyone, I'm Marlow, Felton. And this is Chris.
Bobblehead Chris.
Say hi, Chris.
Hi, it's Bobblehead. Just got my hair cut.
Yeah, oh you did, didn't you? Okay.
They're like, we don't care.
I'm observant. So welcome, and today we're going to talk to you about yours, mine, and ours. Is it yours? Is it mine or is it ours? So I like the saying.
I think it's yours and yours.
Yeah, I like the saying, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
That's perfect.
That's what great marriages are built on.
You don't even need to buy our book.
Yeah,
So,
sarcasm right there. Just sarcasm.
She happy, me happy.
You know, and that's a good thing because Chris is very giving, and then that's helpful for me.
Awesome.
Anyway, what we talk about in our book, Couples Money, and what we have done personally is a system of yours, mine, and ours. And, basically, over the years with our financial services business, we have seen a variety of disasters.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, of people commingling their accounts as a couple. And I'll tell you, the biggest disaster is the shared checking account. And that is a danger zone. So one of two things usually happens, and they're both disasters, or can be. I've seen very, very few situations where it's not a disaster. But there's the shared checking account where everything goes into one account. There's no segregation, and it's just this one combined account. Or a couple keeps their money completely separate and shares nothing with the other. Both a disaster for different reasons. And why would that be, honey?
Well, I think the root of it is just people have trust issues. And so, if you can't, figure out how to bring that partnership together and you got trust issues, I'm not sure why you're getting married.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, and we've met couples that have weird stuff going on and, it works for them. We just have found that by and large, there's a high percentage of success that comes with, what we're talking about here. But the trust issue thing is...
Yeah, so when everything's completely separate, like Chris said, often it's a warning sign that there's some underlying trust issues. I have seen very, very few circumstances where it actually works in a relationship. So it's not to say that it can't. However, it can be a little bit difficult, and there's not the accountability. Now, when everything's together in one checking account, sometimes it's, there's a lot of trust, but there's, usually some delusion attached to that too.
And usually no accountability.
Yes, and there's no accountability. And what happens is because everything goes into one account, there's this illusion that there's more money than there really is, because you might see the money in there. Oh, we have money to go out to dinner tonight. So you go out to dinner tonight, out comes the money, and you don't realize that you just took money from your retirement, funding your retirement account, or the college savings, or the new house, or whatever it is, because there's no accountability and no segregation of funds. So, what have we done that's worked the best? Honey, he knows.
I just go here.
No. Well, I will tell you what.
I know. Well, we have lots of segregation.
Yeah. So
we have buckets and buckets upon buckets and buckets.
Lots of buckets.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
like buckets. Well, so segregation of funds and accountability. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. So segregation of funds means you have a bucket, and I don't mean a literal bucket. Please don't go out and put money in buckets. Put them in an account where it's safe. And so what we do is we have the household expense account. We have the retirement accounts, the short-term, mid-term accounts for different purposes. And then we have the fun account. So he has his fun account. I have my fun account. Yes, we love our fun funds. And so we've agreed upon what those buckets are for. They're clearly defined. and we know how much is going into them each month. So there's no financial surprises. So, so the segregation and then the accountability, that is incredibly important. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's the yours, mine, and ours system that works for us. What would you say?
It's
Honey?
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
I'm a
Happy
little
Monday.
I'm not tired. I'm actually.
He's
I'm
not
having
tired.
I'm having the cold coffee. So.
Yeah, nothing like cold.
Well, no, I mean, we've mentioned this on some other of our programs. That, you know, one of our wealthy mentors said, hey, you know, you live inside these percentages too, right? You got, if you're an entrepreneur like us, you got 25% of your income that's personal expenses. So, you know, look at where you are. 25% is business expenses, and then 50% is taxes, you know, saving and giving. And if you're not, you know, if you're not an entrepreneur, you know, you might have 10% of your expenses going to, like, you know, commuting and your job and all that. Maybe it's 40% towards, you know, living expenses, which includes entertainment and fun. And then the other is, you know, taxes, savings, and giving. And so, you know, so that, I think that would be kind of the umbrella. And then you got to figure out, you know, where that fits, right? So you got, you know, inside your personal expenses, you got your, you know, fun account, like how much is going to go to entertainment and fun, because if you don't have it, you're going to blow your budget. You know, so anyway, I think you can kind of work that out. And then inside your savings, I mean, there's, you know, retirement, there's college, there's, you know, I mean, we got multiple kind of short-term goal buckets that we have. I don't know, 7 or 8. I mean, they're all labeled of, you know, this and then this and this, and, you know, if we want to save for travel and all that. So, you know, it's possible. And then, you know, if you do all that stuff and you're like, holy cannoli,
Yeah.
holy cannoli, like,
Golly beaver.
like, you know, it's like, Felton, you don't understand. It's like, you know, 80%'s living because I'm not making enough money. How can I do all that other stuff? And, you know, then that's the time for the brainstorming session of, like, you know, we just believe you have to do something entrepreneurial on the side. You got to have a side hustle to make up the difference, and then you can have enough money to kind of fill, you know, these different buckets. So.
Right. Yeah. So the segregation of funds is a couple that are, you know, clearly defined, named. You know what these accounts are for, and then you can really make the connection to your spending and whether it makes sense or not. You know, I mean, if you know you've got a goal of buying a new house and you don't have enough money in that account, what does that mean? You need to cut back on something else to fund the account. And so it becomes so much clearer and so much more transparent as to where you are financially. And, you know, so we have a travel fund. We also have a Christmas fund because I love Christmas.
A little too much.
I do like it a little bit too much, and I go a little crazy at Christmas. So I decided that it was important that
I don't.
we start. Oh yeah, but you like all the presents I get you.
I know, but it's always this lopsided.
Yeah, he gets all the
Deal.
presents, and then I open up mine. I'm like, okay, great.
So that she can sit here and say he gets all the
No,
presents.
no, don't
and
get
then
me
I get
wrong.
mine.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just stating a fact.
It's actually guiltness.
No,
It's-
but don't. No, let me clear
call it
things up here.
Guiltness.
I in no way feel deprived because I pretty much
I
have.
think guiltness. That's pretty funny.
That's funny.
That wouldn't have happened unless.
I don't feel deprived at all.
Guiltness.
So this is in no way. I'm not, but it's funny. So that's why pretty much I just go and buy my whatever I want for myself. I buy presents for myself too, because you know Chris will be like, "Well, I don't know what you want," and I'm sending him links to websites, and I'm like, "Oh, here, just."
And I do what Homer Simpson
I'll just
does.
get
I give her a bowling ball
a bowling ball.
with
No.
my name on it.
No, he never got me a bowling
We don't
ball.
bowl.
But, you know, Chris gives me inspiration throughout the year, and I enjoy it so much. And that's how
Pretty inspiring.
Chris ends up with more Christmas presents than me. But I'm okay with that because I really enjoy watching Chris open his Christmas presents. And I already have some, and you're going to love them.
I'm kind of a little boy.
He is a little.
All right. We're
Anyway, so
far off
start the
topic.
Christmas fund. And I mean, now might be a little late to start the Christmas fund. However, you should be having the Christmas budget conversation now, because now's a great time for you to really define how much you're going to spend on Christmas before you just kind of go out and start randomly spending money for Christmas, and just make sure that you have an agreed upon amount that you're going to spend for each other, for family members, and all that kind of stuff.
And that's a good. So like the fund account, my kids live out of state, right? And so part of the fund money that I get helps fund their baseball and their experiences. And when we're down there, we have fun. We eat out. That all comes out of the fund account. And so when I go down for Christmas, I'm like, guys, we've spent all this money all year to.
The fun is over.
Well, no, but I stay extra days when I'm down there. I stay like a whole week, and I'm just like, hey, you can get a toy each, or a toy. I mean, they're
they don't. Yeah, they want.
No, but this has been going on a long time though. But I'm just like, hey, one thing each, right? That's. But they don't sit there and go, oh my God, I'm deprived or whatever, right? No, they have experiences with baseball, they have experiences with other sports, and so it's communicated to them that, hey, there's this budget and it's contained in my fund, and fun is, for you guys and us together, and that's a cool conversation to have with your kids versus what most people do is there's just Christmas is just right, and so they just go into debt, and it's a mess. And anyway, so the fund account's phenomenal with your kids too.
Yeah, so the fund account is a fund, as I call it, is a huge part of the yours, mine, and ours segregation of funds that we recommend. Some form of yours, mine, and ours, because at the end of the day, you're two individuals with individual needs. Chris does not get excited about my new pieces of clothes or my shoes at all. He could care less. But I don't want to feel guilty if I go out and buy something, so it comes out of my fun account. And that's fun for me. That's part of what our fun accounts are for. And so we've agreed on what our fun accounts are for. But the fund, huge part of that, and all the other ancillary goals and dreams, necessities like retirement, college savings, short-term savings, a travel fund, what other fund, just short-term savings, and and really knowing where you are, and being accountable to each other. So
major purchase.
Yeah, major purchase. Yeah, we have a major purchase, like a new house or a new car, something like that. Start an account for it. So, and then we check in once a week on that. So we have a spreadsheet with all of our buckets, so we know how much is in there. So we can take a look at the spreadsheet and say, well, okay, we have this goal. There's not as much money in there as we'd like it to be. Where else can we cut money from? Household expenses or some other expenses or some other account or whatever. So that's where you have to that's where the accountability comes in. And it's just much more transparent with that segregation system. So if you don't have a segregation system, we highly recommend it. So what are the two methods to avoid would be the black hole checking account, the vortex of one is a vortex. Yeah, you were a vortex of one account where all the money goes in and out. That can create a very delusional situation. No
matter how much money you make.
Yes, no matter how much money you make, and it's a danger zone for overspending because you don't have the account. Danger. There's no accountability. There's no segregation. And then there's the completely separate accounts, and that leads to hiding money, overspending, lack of trust, which is not good in a relationship, and not no accountability. So anyway, this is really, it's just something that is incredibly powerful and worth the time to set up the accounts, to segregate the funds and create the yours, mine, and ours, and it's not yours. Wait, what did I say earlier? What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Yeah, it's funny, but it doesn't work. So don't do that one.
There you go.
So you can read our blog. I provided a link so you can read the blog and about the segregation of funds and the black hole checking account and all that in a little bit more detail. Hopefully you found this helpful. Please post some comments, ask us questions. You're welcome to do that. We love sharing these concepts and helping people become more financially savvy and have better relationships with each other and their money. So
that's all I got to say about that.
that's all we got to say. Thanks
That's
for
all I
joining
have to say
us.
about that.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.